everybody, welcome to our game, Society of Explorers and Academics. This is episode 2, Race to the Jungle. Um, Excited to see everybody here. I'm your DM, John, and here's what happened last episode. We did have technical difficulties, so I apologize for that. And last episode, we introduced our heroes, and you'll meet them tonight. And our heroes had started with a society party. One of the key members was missing, and they went to explore, and it seems like he might have been taken. They went to his apartment. It seems there was a sign of a struggle, and there were some clues, and the clues have led them to the previous location for the Cotton Club, and that's where we were off to tonight. So with that, I'd like to introduce our players. So I'll say hello to Courtney.
Hi.
And of course, Chris.
Hey.
And lastly, I'll say hello to Sean.
Hello, hello.
So before I get going, does anybody have something they want to say? Any closing business from last week?
No, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, well, where we left last week was you guys were going to change, and then we were going to go, at least what I thought you were going to then go check out the Cotton Club.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm assuming you guys are changed into out of your evening attire. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Something a little more rugged.
Remember, it's the 1930s.
Right.
You know, you might change from a tux into, you know, typical street clothes.
Typical street gear.
Is going to be a suit and tie of the time period, and maybe a fedora. Although it doesn't have to be. It can be whatever you think is appropriate. But, you know, just remember that is normal for the era. So, so as you guys step out of the headquarters building together, why don't you re-describe yourselves, because this is our first time actually streaming.
So my character, Jack Douglas, has brown swept over hair with clean shaven, and he's in a black suit and tie with a fedora. He's a typical military man, so he always dresses the part. Officer, yeah. And
Zarola Fox. She is a big game hunter, and she is blonde with green eyes, about 5'3", a slim stature but very muscular, and she has a strong appearance about herself. She carries herself well, and she's going to be wearing now a women's suit with pants.
Nice.
Michael Chambeau looks like a young Don Cheadle. So everyone's able to Google that one. And I won't have an actual tie on, but more like a sports coat.
Okay.
And I will also have my doctor's bag that I'll have some supplies in.
Right. Okay, good. So, are you guys taking a car or a taxi? How are we getting to the over to the former location of the Cotton Club?
Yeah, we can take a car from the garage, because, well, we didn't pick up the garage perk, but we're wealthy.
You guys have a car.
Okay.
You can take a
Yeah,
car.
well, so we have a car.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's driving?
I guess I can. I think both Zorla and I have the same.
I have a 4.
Yeah, I also have a
I don't.
4.
Okay. So you're driving there, Jack?
I mean, I guess we're rich. We could
Yeah, we're
have a
gonna
chauffeur
be. Yeah,
too.
we're gonna be driven.
Okay.
Okay, chauffeur. All right, fine. So a
Better to not risk that 4-sided die.
all right. Well, you know, driving across town, so long as, nothing untoward happens, routine things, we're not going to have you roll a die just to drive across town. But nevertheless, you have a driver, we've decided, and so you guys wind up at the former location of the Cotton Club. So it's going to look exactly like this. Now, the difference is in this picture, you can see a lot of the lights are on and the neon lights of the Cotton Club are lit up. When you guys arrive, all of these lights are off. The Cotton Club has moved from this location over to its new location in the theater district. But it's happened recently enough, and again, for our viewers who are joining us, it is March of 1937, and I guess I should have said at the beginning, this is a pulp genre game. So our heroes are in New York, 1937, March, and except where we change things, a lot of things are going to follow the real world of what really happened. And so you guys arrive, the Cotton Club has moved to the theater district. As I said, lights are off, the neon lights are off, but it does, something new hasn't moved in yet. It just looks like the Cotton Club, exactly like this, but closed down.
All right.
I like to go explore what happens.
So I'll get out of the car and check the door to see if it's locked.
The door is locked. And
I'll walk around to the side towards the side of the building. I guess if there's one with an alleyway to get to the back and look that direction.
Yeah, the side is the alley is going to be all the way completely behind.
On the other side of the block to get behind the building.
Yeah.
I'd like to pick the lock of the Cotton Club.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll.
Thievery.
Yes, ma'am.
I will take a lookout position.
Are we using a... By the way, Sean, did you look at your adventure card to see what it does?
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. I can actually use that if something pops up in a dramatic way. All right, that'll work.
Right. So once per game, if you have a card, and you get cards kind of in similar ways as you get bennies, you can use that.
Okay.
And then, of course, you spend it and wait to get another card.
Roger that.
I'd like to spend a Benny to re-roll.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, so I click this.
Yep, you click that and then click one and drag it out. Oh.
Stop, let me do it.
Click, there you go.
And I found it luckier to hit your die again. Do not hit the re-roll thing.
There you go.
Yay.
There you go. That's a success. This is an easy lock. A click on 2, a click on 4, reset on 1, a click on 2, back to 1, a click on 1, and you unlock it. And a Benny to anybody who knows who I'm quoting. So, all right, and the door is open. You were just looking down the alley. You see her open the door there, Sean.
Okay. I'll move in quick to get inside.
All right, everybody inside?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're inside, you see you're in the entryway for the Cotton Club, and you see that, it's obviously a space that's not been used for a few months, and it's also been a little neglected. However, you also do still see that this was a fancy club at some point. You still see that. And so you see doors to the you see a door to the right, and there's another door to the left, and there's also a set of bathrooms here in the lobby.
Let's check it.
I call a Scooby-Doo moment where we all split up and take different rooms.
Okay. Why doesn't everybody give me a notice roll?
Okay.
Okay.
You can go first.
Where is it? Why do I not see it?
Notice.
Oh.
All right.
A good
And
bit.
Michael?
Click the gear button. No, the die. Sorry.
Yep.
You can just click the text too.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right. So who's going left and who's going right?
I'll go right.
I'll go left.
I'll check the bathrooms, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, you go into the bathrooms, Captain Douglas, and you don't see anything other than bathrooms. And this being 1937 pulp, you feel awfully awkward going into the women's bathroom. And you leave wondering why there's a couch in there. What in the world would women need with a couch? Michael, you go to the right. To the right, it goes into the bar area, and you see there's tables, there's the actual bar, and then there's a dance floor, and then there's a stage on towards the back.
Right.
Zarola, you go to the left, you go up a flight of stairs. Once you go through this curtain, you go up some stairs, and right as you're about to you get to the top of the stairs, and then it turns right, and there's a door there. And so, are you opening the door? Or what are we doing when we're at the door?
I open the door. I feel confident.
Okay. So, Michael, as you're looking in that bar area, you hear a sound above you, and it sounds like a big thump. Zarola, as you open that door, you see an office, and you see a doorway into another room behind you, and you hear a thump from that room.
Oh, God.
Kind of like something falling over.
Do I in the bathroom hear anything?
You didn't hear anything with the 301, no, sir.
All right.
Well, when I hear the thump, since I've already recognized trouble from the last place, I will post haste back towards the captain, flag him on, and point the direction that Zola went, and then start moving that way.
Okay. All right, Zarola, you open the door, you hear a thump.
I would turn back and actually wait for backup for Jack Douglas and Michael Shambo to be on the same page as me.
Okay.
I tell them that there is a thump.
Great. Okay. So it takes a few minutes, and Captain Douglas and Michael, Mr. Shambo, Dr. Shambo, join you. And go ahead and tell them what you want to tell them.
I heard a thump behind this door when I came up here. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm packing some heat, and I think we should go check it out.
Sounds like a plan.
Gun in her hand. And... Where did that come from?
So we move forward, and I start to open the door with my gun ready, with the men behind me.
Okay.
Well, ladies first.
All right. So you step into an office, and it looks like an office in just about any club. To your right, you see a large window. And if you look at the picture of the Cotton Club and you see that window there in the front, that's the window you're seeing out your office. And behind the desk, between a set of bookshelves, is another door.
Oh my goodness.
Which is where you heard the thump come from.
Okay. Do we need to do a notice roll being inside the office or not? Yeah.
Well, if you want to look for something particular, or you want to see.
Is the window open?
No.
Okay. So we're at the front of the building.
Okay, maybe we'll start checking out the bookshelf and seeing if there's a way to open that door.
It's open.
Oh, it's open.
It's just dark.
On a Scooby-Doo hidden door.
Door. Okay. So I'd like to check out what's behind that door.
Oh, what's behind door number 1? All right. So you guys, you poke your head in. It's dark. You can. How are you going to see in the room?
Candles.
Would any of us have a flashlight? I don't know how likely that is to have back then.
Are there candles in the room?
Well, this is the 1930s, not the
We can turn on-
1830s. There might be a light switch.
We'll try the light. We'll see if power is still here.
It's fair.
All right, so I will say out loud as I reach for the switch, now is a good time for a peaceful resolution, and click.
Okay, yep, you find it, and it's old-fashioned. I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but instead of
you turn it.
No, not a turn it. It's 2 buttons, an off button and an on button. And so you can. It's easy to feel, and you hit the button, which is, if you're looking at Zoom, it's about the size. Well, it's about the size of my pinky, about like that. So you hit that button, click, the light comes on, and there's a bedroom, and in front of the bed you see a chair laying over on its side, and on the floor are a bunch of ropes. And there's another. There's a door to the right, and then there's a door to the left.
Is either of those doors opened? Like
both. The door to the right, you can see a tile floor, and the door to the left is wood, just like the floor you're on right now.
I'll go towards the wood floor.
Okay.
I'll go towards the tile floor.
All right, Zarola, you get over there to the tile floor, and it's a bathroom.
Oh.
And so toilet tub and sink. Captain Douglas, you see, when you get there, you see you're right at the top. There's a landing there and stairs going down. And right when you look down, you hear a door close.
Okay. I shout to the others this way and continue down the stairs in a hurry towards that closed door. I think Courtney just
Oh no.
accidentally clicked something.
That's okay.
Where did that?
You are a linguist. You all are, actually. That's everybody in in this genre, because they're world travelers, savvy world travelers, or that they you start with the linguist edge. Anyway,
It-
so
The
you
direction we're headed, does that go out, open
it's
up to the bar? Can I put
it,
that
it
in
o-
my mind?
it opens to the back of the building. It's
Oh,
heading.
back of the
You're heading
building.
towards
Okay.
the back of the
Back of
building.
the building. Okay. Yep. Let's boogie.
Okay.
But I'll
So
stay behind the guns.
all right. Well, you run down the stairs, and Captain Douglas, you're there first, and Zerola next, and then Michael, Dr. Shambo, and the door comes open, and right as you enter the alley, uh, you see one car turning left out of the alley, and another car that's about to start turning left. So from you, they're probably 50 yards away from you as this is happening. And before you open that door, you heard the tweet, cars leaving quickly.
Can I whistle our driver, or where is the driver?
Well, he dropped you off in the front, and keep in mind the size of this building. Kind of look at what you're looking at here. I think it'd be kind of hard to whistle around a building that size, especially in a downtown New York City.
Is it a busy street? Can we call a cab?
Um, um, Well, you're in an alleyway. It's unlikely that a cab is just so happened going to be driving down an alleyway.
That's true. Well then, I'll run out to the main street.
As he runs, I run too. I'm gonna try to see if I can see who's in the window.
Okay. Make an athletics roll.
Oh, joy. Academic. Oh,
I'm gonna
athletic.
re-roll that.
You have a big die too.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
There we
There you
go.
go.
All right. Well, you two start running, and I like how you got a 5 because your die exploded. That's outstanding. You see, you by the time you guys run and kind of catch up enough to get any kind of view, you only see the rear car.
Okay.
And you see a driver, and you see a guy in the passenger seat, and they've got on suits, fedoras. They just look like regular guys. However, what you do see by racing down there is you see that it's obvious that there's 3 cars together. And so right as you get to the end of the alley, the first car turns right on 104th Street, actually. And then the second car is turning, and you see who's in the third car. So let me help you here with a gameplay thing. Oh, and let me get rid of this Benny. So since we've got 2 new players, one of the things you can do with the, hey, I don't want to run to the front of the building, is there a taxi? One of the things you can do is you can spend a Benny, and then you tell me, the game master, right as we race to the end of the alley, a taxi just happens to be there, and I whistle and he pulls over. So that's a thing you can do with a Benny. Now, I'm not,
Okay.
you don't have to do that, but just for future reference, you know, that's one of those things you can do in this game system. Or you can race to the front of the building or anything else you want to do. Just
Yeah,
tell me.
that would have been a better solution to me pennying my athletics roll.
Well, it allowed you to catch up and see what's in there.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
So 3 cars to. Oh, now we're out towards the street.
As you're looking at this picture, you guys are on the left side of the building. You're on the side of the building you can't see. You're looking at 104th Street right now in this picture.
Well, I'll go ahead and follow that path then. Taxi pulls up, and I wave the rest of the guys in.
Okay.
I get in, and yeah.
Who gets in the passenger seat? The front passenger seat.
I guess I can,
Okay.
and I'll tell the driver follow those cars.
You got it, Mac.
All right, we're in.
All right. So, you guys, by the time you get in the car, turn the corner, there's a pretty good lead on the cars in front of you.
Can I roll my shooting die and try to shoot one of their tires to slow them down?
Right now, they're about a block and a half ahead of you. And it's not busy, but there are other cars.
Shooting out in the streets.
But you can if you want.
It's just going to be a very hard shot.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, should I do it?
Do I see the name of the cab driver?
Yeah, it's on the dashboard. It's Max Samuels.
All right, I will pull out money. I will pull out some money and say, Max?
Mac.
Mac, I'm sure you're a skilled driver. Can you follow that rear car? And I give him, which would be probably more, I don't know, substantial, what, $10? That's probably a lot.
That's
I'd say $4.
All
Is
right.
that a lot?
I give him $5.
$5. Says, hey, can you get closer to that rear car and follow it?
Will do.
Thanks.
So he speeds up, and you guys drive for probably about 10 minutes, and he's starting to get closer to the car. And after about 10 minutes, he's close enough. Other car's probably about 30 feet in front of yours, which is a little better for a shot if you want to take one.
And I'll also be taking the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have both of us hanging out the windows.
All right.
Although she might make it.
Let me check something here.
Are the cars staying together?
You can see that they've spread apart,
Okay.
but they all three seem to be going the same place.
Can I tell if they're headed to the loading docks?
They are heading away from the loading docks. It looks like you're not out of the city yet, but if you continue on this way, it looks like they're heading to New Jersey.
We're in trouble now.
second. There we go. All right, so it's going to be a -2 to hit. So go ahead and roll the damage there. You're going to miss, Captain Douglas.
Yeah.
And but Zarola, go ahead and roll your damage for that weapon.
What gun was she carrying? She was carrying the gun that
I believe that was a 45. Was it
Yeah.
not?
Yes, because I switched. I took the Derringer and gave her the 45 because I knew she was apt at using it.
we need the stats for that then.
Yeah, just a second. Although you guys did go change, and so if she wants to have her own gun, that's perfectly fine.
Good Lord.
So that's true. Do you want to have the 45 or do you want to have your own Derringer? The 45.
Okay, so I'll use the 45.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have it's a model 1935 because it's 1937. Of course, it's not a Colt 45. Yeah, it was the Browning high power model 1935 pistol. So that is we're in an alternate timeline there for a moment. That's going to be 2d6 plus 1.
2d6 plus 1.
I'm gonna put it in here. 2d6. Oop, nope, that's not what I want. 2d6 plus 1.
Yes, sir.
Two d6. Let's say 1.
No, that's right. I'll just go that.
Oh, you have to do a roll. Wow.
So you got a 5.
Oh, because the bonus roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Yeah, the wild die still works with this, right?
Yeah, so it should be 6 damage.
Oh, okay. So you add them together?
Well, she only rolled 1d6.
Oh, it's 1d6 plus 1.
It's 2d6 plus 1.
So I said
2D.
That's why I said
I'm an idiot. Okay.
You weren't listening.
Sorry. 2d6 plus 1. Why is this not working? There we go. You want to roll?
Do I have to save it?
It's in there. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so 10. All right.
Why 10?
Because your bonus die rolled a 9.
Plus 1.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. It's Chris is right. You don't get the +1 on the bonus die.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. So all right. You shoot the tire, and the car, the driver wow, can't talk. The driver overcorrects and slams into a parked car, and the car moves sideways to the left and rolls once.
Ooh.
And Max says, "Follow the others, or do you want me to stop for this guy?"
Well, we should probably stop for this guy and figure out what we can. Right?
I'm leaning towards following the others. Because I mean, it's the last car in a tail of cars. How likely is it that someone important is in that car?
Dr. Shambo, what do you think?
Of course, you won't know if you don't stop.
I want to stop
Okay, we'll
because
stop.
people are probably hurt. Even if they're bad. Darn that Hippocratic oath.
Yeah. Plus, Michael Shambo was the one who paid, so I guess
Oh, yeah.
who's calling the shots.
I'll give you a Benny for that decision there, Doc. Okay, so taxi driver pulls over, and you guys jump out of the car, and right as you jump out of the car, one of the guys, just a second, whoop, wrong button, this button. There we go. All right. I think it's our first time using this.
What's the GM3 there?
So if you look at the turn order,
Order.
Oh.
Mhm.
Who'd you go again?
Jack.
so Dr. Shambo, you appear to be first.
All right.
What's happened is one of the guys has stood up and he's got a Tommy gun. He's about to start pointing at
Oh.
you.
Jesus. All right.
It's a quick recovery from a car flipping over, and then
No, the other one that they hit flipped over. Right? Their car didn't flip.
No. That's he stood up out of the car.
so their car flipped.
Yes. Yeah. There were two guys in the car that flipped. One of them have stood up and he's not yet, but he has a Tommy gun and he may be pointing at you soon.
Okay. So from where I am, can I get? So is his car upright?
No.
Okay. So if I get to, in my action, I want to get to the car where he was not going to draw a line of sight to me. Am I close enough for that?
You want to put a car between you and him?
Yes.
The car he smashed into is ahead of you, but between you and him.
I'll run there.
Okay.
And I'll pull up. I figure the weapon that if I have a weapon, I know I have the Derringer, but the one I'm more comfortable with would be technically a sap, that little thing that you try to knock people out with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a sap, basically a small club.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
No,
yeah, you got
I'll
that.
have that. I'll have that. And then I'll dip behind the car with the intentions that I'm going to try to at least make a flanking move to either as a distraction or to get up to them.
Okay. All right. Captain Douglas?
I will try and get cover behind a parked car and pull out my pistol and try to shoot at him.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Which,
Now, which car are you getting behind? The same one that the doctor got behind?
how many cars are there?
Okay, so imagine you're on a 2-lane road. Okay,
Yeah.
which means traffic one way, traffic the other way.
Okay.
The parked cars are on the right side of the road. When you shot, he hit a parked car, and then the car traveled past that car and flipped over. So the front end of the bad guy car is pointing at the sidewalk, laying on its side.
Okay.
The guy with the Tommy gun has stood up out of the passenger window, basically, with the Tommy gun. So between you and that car is the car that they hit before flipping over, with the doctor behind it.
Okay. Then yes, I guess I'll be there with the doctor.
Okay, and you said you're going to try to shoot.
Yes.
Okay, so you can. So normally in this game, you can make a move and an attack, and your move is going to be um, whatever your pace is, which is I think 6, right?
Yeah. Is that
So
far
that's
enough to get behind the car?
no, that did plenty. So that's 6 yards, right?
Yeah.
And or 6 meters for our folks overseas, and um, so you can make your pace movement and plus an attack. If you ever want to run really far, you can make a double move, but then you don't get to attack, and that would be your double your pace. But in
Yeah.
this case, yes, you can go ahead and make an attack. So
Okay.
so go ahead
Uh,
and roll to hit.
yeah, and when I was getting changed, I would have gotten my Colt 1911. That was my military issue gun.
Okay.
Which it doesn't matter. It's the same stats.
Okay. Yep. You hit.
Okay. Woof.
God dang.
And blam, you hit the guy, and he just instantly just drops and slumps over the car. He's half in the car, half out.
Okay.
One
I
big
can't do
difference.
anything else, but
One big difference between this game and Rifts is
Yeah.
nobody's wearing mega damage armor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Not used to being able to kill things in one hit.
Well, you just shot a guy with a M1911.
That's true.
That
That would put a guy down.
Let's remember that.
So that's one guy down. You remember there were 2 guys in the car.
Yeah.
So
Though I
Zarola.
I can't take another shot.
I would like to stealthily make my way over to try to get to the car from the other side to see if I can get eyes on the second guy.
Okay, now to do that is going to take a double move.
Oh, snap.
So you can do that and take a look. And commute and talking is also a free action. So you can go over there, look, and say something to other people. You can do that.
Wait, how can I, what? Why is it 2 moves?
Because it's further away.
Right, and you have to walk around the car because you're looking at the bottom of the car right now.
Yeah.
So to see into the car, you're going to have to go all the way around the car and look in.
So you can do that, or you can do something else. Whatever you want.
Can I slowly make my way over there?
If you want to, yeah. Go.
Okay. Did I just roll anything?
Nope. Just tell me you're doing a double move going to the other side of the car.
Okay, yeah. I'm doing a double move going to the other side of the car.
When you get over there, you look in the windshield and you can see the guy is kind of rubbing his head, and he seems like he's stunned. You can tell he's not all there.
Okay. So I'll call over Dr. Shambo, since he can probably take a look at the guy first to see if he's coherent or cognizant, whatever the word is, to make sure he's okay first before we start trying to question him.
Okay.
All right, you run over there, Doc.
Yes. All right. So as I move over that way, I mean, I'll move over that way. I'll probably drop my bag just before I'm able to make contact with them. But I obviously have my little club in my hand, and it's like, "Hey, you're hurt, buddy. Stay calm."
Okay. Now, picture the scene. The car's on its side. You're looking through the windshield at him.
Oh, so he's still in the car.
He's in the car. He's in the driver's seat.
Okay.
Right. So the road is basically touching his left shoulder. Well,
Okay.
you know, he's touching the door. The door's touching the road.
All right.
Should we pull him out and get him away from the car?
Yeah, we're gonna have to, just to get him out of the car.
Mac comes around the corner and he's got a tire iron in his hand and he says, maybe this'll help.
Sounds good.
How would
Pop
a
open the
tire
door.
iron?
Pop open the door
Well,
Okay.
the door's
up top.
or you could use it to beat through the glass.
Okay.
When I was, just a random aside, when I was in EMT school, we had one day where we went to a junkyard and got to practice with Jaws of Life and things like that. And the tool we used to get through windshields was a hay hook, which is just a handle with a hook on it.
Mm.
And now, as I'm saying this, I realize that it probably doesn't apply, but to modern windshields, because of the plastic in there, the glass actually rips, and you can just rip the hook through the windshield, and then it'll just lay over. But I realize this is 1937, and that's
This
probably
glass is going to shatter.
yeah, that's probably going to shatter. But the tire iron gives you something to break the glass to get the guy out.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be faster.
Or you can try to lift him through the door. Your choice.
No, we'll smash the glass, drag him out.
All right. Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll. You get the glass broke. You pull him out. He's got a cut from bashing his head on the steering wheel on his forehead, and why don't you make a doctor roll there for me, Doc?
Where am I at? Is that going to be my healing?
It's probably science, right?
I have that too. Yep. Okay.
I think we put all your doctor stuff, just grouped it under science. All right, yeah, that works.
Okay.
And 4 is a target for success, and you've actually got a raise. So you can tell foreheads just bleed really bad. He's bleeding. He's semi-conscious, but you can tell from his eyes that he's got a little bit of a concussion.
Got it. Okay. So as I'm stopping the bleeding and patching up, I'm also make sure he's disarmed.
Okay. Yes, he's disarmed.
All right. So disarm, patching him up. Hey, buddy, everything's gonna be okay. But where are you headed in such a hurry?
I don't have to talk to you.
If I can, I'd like to work the room because I can help other players.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
I'd be able to help him.
Give me a work the room thing. Now, what are you actually physically doing while you're working this room?
I am going to comfort the man and make him feel safe and kind of distract him from the situation, and just try to tell him that we're here for them and we're here for him, and just trying to make him feel safe and that he can speak freely, I guess.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make your roll. Outstanding.
Nothing like a beautiful woman comforting you after a car accident.
I would think so, yeah.
Where is it? It's on Edge. What do I do for this?
Does she have to roll anything for that?
I don't think she does. Sean needs to make a persuasion roll.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
And if I remember, the edge gives him a +1 or a +2.
I think it's a...
I'm going to need it. Here I go. Ugh.
Oh, no.
It's not enough.
It's once per turn, you can use work the room to roll an additional skill die when supporting with persuasion or performance. The additional die supports any other ally who can see or hear your hero.
Okay.
So I think she just rolls hers and it stacks with his?
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Persuasion?
I'll figure out how to really do it, but that sounds good for the moment. So go ahead and roll your persuasion.
Yeah.
Bam, we got a raise. And guy's like, all right. He says, we're going to the Naval Air Station in Lakehurst. You know, Manchester Township, New Jersey. Some Germans they wanted me to drive them there.
Why would they want to drive? Why would they want you to drive them there?
I don't know. I've never been there before. I don't leave the city much.
How do you know these men if you don't leave the city much?
I do odd jobs.
Like what?
I like
you hear-
driving.
Like driving.
I'll describe what's that first name? Albert, right?
Hey, Doc.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about the guy hanging halfway out the window?
Oh yeah, I am, because that was a good shot. now that the team is over here, yeah, as they're there, as I'm standing up, what I'll describe it. Hey, we're one of those Germans, and I'll describe Albert, the older gentleman we're looking for, to see if he was in one of the cars.
Albert? Yeah, the guy with the mustache. Yeah, he was in that first car. He didn't seem like he really wanted to be there, though.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, let me go check out the guy in the pumped over the window, and as I'm looking around for cops to eventually show up.
Why don't you make me a notice roll?
Noticing. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so if you go as you go up to check on him, you notice on his lapel he's got a Nazi party pin on his lapel.
Okay. Well, I know who's going to get left behind. But I check for his consciousness. Is he conscious, or is he dead?
He is dead.
Dead. Okay.
Dead.
I would think with a 19 damage roll, he's long gone.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I'll take the pin, his ID, the Tommy gun.
Okay.
Um.
You're digging through his pockets for his ID?
Yes.
Okay, that's in his jacket pocket, and what you find is a German. You find a passport, German passport, with a big Nazi symbol right on the front.
Okay. All right, I'll let the team know that, hey, this is an actual Nazi, not just a German. This is a Nazi. This is some serious business. Whatever is happening at this airport. Let's go.
We call Mac back over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we don't need to call
still,
Mac over. Let's just run over. Let's just get the gear. The other guy's doctored up enough that he's either going to remain here once the authorities come, or he'll figure out a way to disappear. And then I show him this stuff and says, hey, maybe this might come in handy later for something.
You show that to who?
The captain.
Oh,
well,
okay.
but basically both of them.
Okay.
But he is the
What are you
blonde
showing me?
hair.
Yeah, blonde hair.
Yeah.
What are you showing me? The passport?
And the pin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I give the Tommy gun to Zola. Zarola. Can you use this?
Sure can.
All right. Let's try to get to this airport.
Yeah, Max, if we're going to catch these guys, we better hurry.
All right, bet. Oh, any money on the gangster?
Oh, the injured guy?
Yeah.
You're gonna roll him?
Yeah.
That
guy doesn't need money, right?
yeah, he actually he's got $1 in his wallet.
He's got $1.
$1.
All right, it's tax. All right, I'm out. Let's go.
All right.
I give it to Mac. Thanks for waiting.
Right.
It's like bloody.
Where am I going?
New Jersey.
What's the name of the airstrip?
The Naval Air Station.
Lakehurst? In Manchester Township?
Yes,
Yes.
that's the one.
All right, I know where that's at. That sounds awful familiar. So he starts taking off. I think there's a Navy base there or something.
Sounds
You guys-
about right.
You guys can make a common knowledge roll if you want. See what.
Yep.
See if that rings a bell.
Nope.
I feel like you should know.
I know. I should know.
Well, at least he's pretty. Well, the doctor says he's probably one of the few of you that. I mean, Zarola, let's be honest. You do read the newspaper, but you skip to the society section. Dr. Shambo, he's like, wait a minute. Didn't those German blimps always, isn't that where they were going to, was the Naval Air Station there in Jersey?
Well, that's where they launched the blips to travel, right? Did the Hindenburg blow up there?
Not yet.
No. Okay. Sorry. Well, if it's flying, though, that wasn't its maiden voyage, was it?
It was not its maiden voyage. But the Hindenburg had been to that airstrip multiple times, many times.
Okay.
For the last year or so, it has been.
Did the Hindenburg blow up stateside? For some reason, I thought that was a British thing.
No, it in March of 1937, the Hindenburg has not yet blown up.
Okay.
All right. So you guys start. Mac really guns it, and you guys don't come across any cops. Matter of fact, right as you're just about out of distance, you hear sirens, and you can imagine that the cops arrived at that scene where the
Okay.
guy
Crash and
got
everything was.
shot, and the car's overturned. And it is a it takes you an hour and 50 minutes to get there to the station in Lakehurst, Naval Air Station there. And as you get there to the station, you see bum 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 bum. Bam. By the way, there's your roads on the way to New Jersey. And oh, by the way, I'm proud of myself. That actually is one of the roads on the way to New Jersey in 1937.
Nice.
I know.
Wow.
Somebody did their homework. And so as you guys get to the get there, you see two cars parked, and you see the Hindenburg starting to lift off.
Wow.
And if you see where I'm clicking,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually the passenger section. And Mac pulls up underneath the Hindenburg, and as it's lifting away, you see Elbert kind of throw himself against the window, and it looks like he's saying something. Why don't the three of you give me a notice roll?
Oh, no, it's nothing.
Come on, Doc.
Oh, goodness.
Here we go.
You guys can.
Come on, Doc.
You guys can Benny if you want.
Yeah, Doc, you see He's dropped a piece of paper.
All right.
And
I'm-
the paper's falling, but it kind of gets hit by the engines. You're going to have to chase it
Oh,
down.
yeah. I'm chasing it down then.
All right. So it takes you a few minutes. And meanwhile, you guys see the Hindenburg starting to pull away. Let me know if you want to do anything. You find the piece of paper there, Doc.
I shoot at the Hindenburg. That is like causing the explosion.
I think, do I have to send a Benny for this? That I happen to have a what are those things called? Those grappling hooks on me.
Oh.
So
I'm going to give you your Benny back. No, it's
Okay.
you're not going
Yeah.
to be able to throw it that high.
sorry.
It's already about 100 feet plus in the air and moving. But good try.
Oh.
Good try. Doc, you look at the piece of paper
Yes.
and it says that on it. Kawahiva.
Uh-oh. I accidentally. All right. I will make I'm going to Kawahiva.
Kawahiva.
Kawahiva. All right. What's that mean?
That was a good idea, though. I'm going to give you an action and adventure card for that, Zarola. Yeah, good question what that means.
All right. I have his notebook. I think it's about time I'm going to have to.
It gives you something.
I'll run back to the. I said here. This is what's written on it.
You can
probably-
play that whenever you want.
Let's get back to the to base, and see if I can make heads or tails of this.
Okay. By the way, that is a picture of the actual Hindenburg in New Jersey. Just for those historically minded.
Nice thing to have.
And
Did you type that word in the?
I did.
Okay, I think I closed it out and then opened it while you were typing it, so it didn't come through for me.
It should stay there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
By scrolling down.
Yeah,
What I
sometimes
haven't
make sure you're clicked on the chat bubbles
Yeah.
and then scroll down. It saves the chat.
Okay.
Since I
Oh, I see it. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
traveled and was a big game hunter, mostly in Africa, but I did go to South America as well. Would I know this word?
You can make a common knowledge roll. Or tell me if you have another skill you think fits better.
You would.
Yay. I do know this word.
Well, unless. And John has to determine how hard it
Wow.
would be to know this word. But
Yeah, I'll be honest, no.
Oh.
No. You have been to you get the sense that it's a familiar word to you. Like it's on the tip of your tongue, like it means something, but you're not pulling it up. So you guys are going back to the by the way, did you look at what your card does, Courtney?
Oh, it does a +2 to things.
Okay.
So everyone's rolls for
yeah.
that round.
And my
Um,
character's also been to South America, so I just rolled that, but his common knowledge is awful, so
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean a thing to you.
really betting on a
But we have an archives
we
Yeah.
do have an archive.
back at our base.
And you have a doctor that's really good at
research.
So
Yeah,
you
so
guys, Mac drives you back to the headquarters. It's another hour and 50-minute drive.
Wow.
And by the way, don't forget, just a summary, a reminder, is it's now, by the time you get back to the headquarters, it's 11 o'clock at night. And if you remember, what time, who remembers what time, Pier 39, that something was going to happen?
Pier 39. Thought we passed that already.
Remember the Stakesby?
Tomorrow, 5 o'clock.
At what time?
She said tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
p.m.
Okay.
Tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Yep. So you
Okay.
get back to the headquarters, it's 11:30 p.m.
So we missed
So
what happened at Pier 39.
are we,
Well, this is all the same night, isn't it?
it is the same night, yeah.
So
Yeah,
tomorrow
it's
at 5. Oh, I don't know. What is today's date? It
today's
says
date.
5 at March 6th.
Right, so today's date at 11:30 p.m. is March 5th.
Okay,
Oh,
so it's still tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, it's still the evening of the of your gala.
Yeah.
okay.
We've been humping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a busy evening. So, are you guys crashing, or are you going to burn the midnight oil doing research?
I'd like to know what that word means.
Oh, I'm burning the midnight oil.
All right. So why don't you give me a research roll there, Doc? You guys see the Doc, and he's pulling out books and maps and atlases, and he's got the guy's notebook, and
Hold on.
you've got
If I
minutes
had
for a
nothing.
reason.
Hold on.
Well, one problem is, let me look here. Let me pull open your. I thought you were better at research than that.
Uh-huh.
You only have a D6 in research?
Yeah. Where is
Oh.
my? Remember what we were trying to say? It was like kind of odd that like my smart is a D10, and research is based off of smart, but it's only a D6.
Well,
You have to put points into.
Yeah. No. It just helps. Oh, sorry. It's helped because mine's a 10. If I wanted to raise the dice, it cost me less points to actually
Correct.
do it.
right.
Yes. Got it.
Right.
My science is a D10. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So here we go. Re-rolling.
There you go.
Yay.
There we go. So it takes him. He's got a pile of books open, and he's been scribbling some arcane stuff, and he finally he looks up. When he looks up, he says, the Doc looks at you guys, and he says, Mato Grosso. He says, the Brazilian state of Mato Grosso. There is a tribe called the
Kawahiva.
Tribe. He says they're rumored. Nobody's ever seen them, but we only know about them because of their artifacts they left behind, but we believe they're really there. And he pulls up a map. And he says, if you look in Brazil, this is Mato Grosso area. And he says, then if you look in Mato Grosso, this area up here in red, that's where the tribe is rumored to be at.
Yeah, so that's all of Brazil.
That's Brazil.
Yeah.
You think that's where the blimp is headed?
So, who wants to make some
All right. So
common knowledge rolls for me?
So right now we have a delivery coming from Brazil tomorrow.
Yes.
There we go. My awful common knowledge finally pays off a little bit.
I thought that was me, darn. But I succeeded a little bit.
You said common knowledge?
Yeah, and I forgot why we were rolling, to be honest. What did I say right before I said roll?
We had mentioned about the red area.
Courtney had asked if that's possibly where the Hindenburg was flying to.
Right, there it is. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, you remember reading in the paper about the Hindenburg, now that you've seen it and whatever. And you know that the Hindenburg makes routine stops in Rio de Janeiro.
All right.
And you are 1 point shy of 2 raises there, Captain. And so I'll let you know that you remember that it's a 90-hour trip for the Hindenburg.
Holy moly.
That's a long trip.
Welcome to 1937.
Mm-hmm.
And surely the Hindenburg has to make several stops along that way, right?
Actually, no.
Wow.
But the Hindenburg makes routine stops where?
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And if you look at the map, Rio is approximately right there. If you look in the upper right corner,
If you can see.
Mm-hmm.
right about there.
Hmm.
Is there any mode of transportation that can beat that?
Fixed wing plane?
Well, the
Oof.
problem is your fixed wing plane in 1937 is going to be faster, but the problem is that it's going to you're not going to be able to fly from New York to Rio, right? You're gonna fly a whole bunch of places, and you're going to spend a lot of time stopping and refueling.
Ah, shucks.
So now there is another option for you.
Fly to.
Well, the Nazis aren't the only ones with
Air dirigibles.
That's correct.
Yeah, the hotel is a docking bay for dirigibles, isn't it?
It is actually, yes.
Okay. So let's
But do we want to chase that down, or do we want to see what happens at the pier?
I want to go to the pier, because if something's coming from that area, maybe we can also find out whom we might be able to meet or contact on that end versus just flying straight there and winging it. I also have the doctor's book. Or did that help me decipher what was going on?
That did.
Okay.
It doesn't mention the shipment.
Okay.
But it there we go. Sorry, I was doing something. So it doesn't mention the shipment. The one thing you do see in your research surrounding that tribe, and one of the things you see is a drawing that looks like a plant like this, and underneath it, it says Folhas de Eternidade. Although the person who actually speaks French might be better at Portuguese than me.
Probably Full House de Eternidade.
There you go. Thank you. That's written underneath the plant.
The flower of eternity, nectar of eternity.
I don't know.
Hey, let's see. Will it translate?
Does Dr. Shambo know Portuguese?
Hold on, let me roll over here. Da-da-da-da-da.
Gonna be texting Faye.
No. English, French. No.
No. Anybody? I don't know off the top of my head what languages you guys took.
I know Spanish, French, and German.
Okay.
Why don't we pick like this? Oh.
You know, we'll check out after a nap, a bath. Since we have to be at the docks by 5.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll use the facilities at our spot with the what was that guy's name? Hold on.
Because we know how to speak it.
Why would we all take German?
Maybe because you knew it's 1937 and it was Pulp Fiction and it might be helpful to understand Nazis.
It's pretty important.
Yeah, because I took French, German, and Swahili.
Swahili. Jambo Buana.
Java.
That's
And that's all the Swahili I know.
Yeah,
Does he know?
hello.
What was that, Sean?
Oh, I was gonna say, wait a minute. Oh, was it the new A team when they're in the airport? B.A. Baracus and what's the crazy one? Murdoch.
Yeah.
Their secret identities were switched, and so B.A. had to pretend he was a Jew converting, even though he's dressed in Swahili gear, and Murdoch was actually had to be the Swahili, and he had to take off his yarmulke, but the person at the airport was Swahili, so he started speaking Swahili to him. And so now they're trying to plan out how in the hell we're going to get out of the airport when he busts out speaking Swahili.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen the new. I haven't seen that one actually.
It's not too shabby. I can't. Samantha Green. Archive. Oh, Jonas Matthews. I'll stop by and see him. He's in the archives at the place to see if he can help me with the flower. It maybe some type of translation, or if they have that stuff there.
Yeah, let me look up something real quick.
And we should probably give a heads up to our founder, not our founder, our Joffrey. Yeah.
Let me look at one thing real quick.
Okay.
Joffrey George.
Actually, what did you get? You got an 11. So, because you guys took the archives for your base, it gives. What is your research roll? Oh, it's just a D6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. If you have a research of a D8 or higher, having the archives gives you a +1, but you have to have the D8. That would have given you a raise. Okay. Yes, Mr. Matthews,
Sometime
Jonesy.
in the distant future, if we ever need to really make a
Will
roll,
it stay with me?
it stays permanently.
So he helps you, and he tells you, yeah, your guess there, Doc, was, yeah, it's the eternity flower, kind of is how he translates it.
Okay.
So,
Are we doing research and long life?
well, Elbert did.
He's a botanist.
He was a botanist. Maybe.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Matthew. Did you enjoy that party last night?
Oh yeah, it was. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It was the bee's knees.
Bee's knees. And Miss Green, she enjoyed her time, right? Miss Green, yeah, that was his date.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, we. It went well.
Awesome.
It went
Right.
well.
Thanks so much for your help. Okay. So then we'll circle back to Joffrey, and I guess the high
Okay.
notes is that we believe right now. I said we're going to need some assistance getting to Brazil.
He says I will. He says, fortunately, when you go to see him, Commander Byrd is there, and he listens to the conversation, and he says, well, he says I have some strings with the Navy, and he says I'll see maybe if we can maybe we can requisition our own blimp.
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
He says, let me make some calls, and he leaves the room.
All right.
So what are you guys doing between now and 5 p.m.? It's pretty late. It's 2 a.m. And you guys are...
Go to bed.
Yeah, shit, shower, shave, go to bed.
Okay, family show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
Is it okay if we take a little break so we can take the puppies out to go to the bathroom?
Great idea. We will take a 2-minute break, and we will be back in 2 minutes. I'm back. Anybody else back? Looks like no. All right. Welcome back.
Hello.
There you are. All right. All right. Anything for us to go over while we're waiting for those two to come back?
No. Not right now.
Okay, fair enough.
At some point, we'll have to come up with gear and things of that nature. Not sure what the little club does for damage.
Okay. Yeah, good. Let's look that up. You've got it's a sap, right?
Yeah.
That's
Hello.
Hey,
back.
welcome back. We were just about to look up what a sap does in damage. So, bum, 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 bum. Shields, special weapons, flamethrowers, missiles. We, oh, there we go. Okay. Huh. Interesting. I don't see it here. Alexa, turn on the office light.
Now, and I don't know. I mean, I also, as why that came into play too. So I'm thinking of something that had a chance to, was it stun? You know, usually that weapon, it's not meant for a lot of damage, but it has a higher likelihood to disorient or stun people.
Yeah. I could buy that. Let me see. I'm looking in the rules. I don't see it. Okay. Right, not there. Let me see if it's in one. It's probably more likely to be in one of these. No, not that book. One more book. I might have to.
Problem. Make it up.
Yeah.
I mean, is there like a club or anything?
Well, yeah, I was looking at mace. I was looking at other things. Like a mace is strength plus d6.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if right this second, which you're not about to club somebody, so it doesn't matter right this second, but if I were going to right this very second try to come up with something, I would say strength plus d4.
Yeah.
But as far as the using it to knock people out, um, I would think that you would be your fighting roll, and then it's a called shot, basically. And yeah, let me think about that.
No problem.
I'll have an answer for you between now and whenever you're going to bop somebody on the head.
All right, sounds good.
Michael turns around and whacks Jack Douglas.
Jack, I want to try something real quick. Hold this.
That's funny. Yeah. So a called shot to the head is a -4 to hit. And yeah, so let me see. All right, so it's last I heard, I think you're all going to bed.
Yep.
Okay. So you wake up in the morning. I'm assuming are you meeting for breakfast?
Yes.
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right. So you guys, you meet in the headquarters, and very nice dining room up on the headquarters level, and white tablecloths. You have waiters, and you're brought whatever you want for breakfast. They have it, and fancy china, silverware, the whole thing. It's very nice. And
Well, I guess for conversation, so looks like I'll speak as I'd like to try to go by and see what is being imported, just as possibly more clues to what is going on. Maybe
okay.
something else about this flower. Hopefully our
You don't find anything about that flower in the archives.
okay. No, not here. Okay.
Um,
Wow. This must be new.
so, all right. So, anything you guys want to do between now and 5 p.m.?
Um, I will go back to my room and I'm gonna clean my pistol because I shot it.
Okay. Zarola?
Should we try to investigate like what usually happens at that pier? So we know what we might be walking into.
How would you go about doing that?
That's a good question. Should we ask around the hotel, or like, I mean, we're a society, so
Go to receiving and just find out like when they pick up stuff by the pier, like what's protocol. Like maybe someone down, that gets deliveries, runs logistics for the building. Be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we go to the dock, go see this person, have these papers.
Absolutely. Actually, Mr. Fleming, George Fleming, he tells you that on the occasion he's been down to Pier 39, he's talked to Mr. Lou Dandridge, and he runs the cargo section there, and there actually is a receiving area for people who have things coming in on the ship.
Is that before or after customs?
After.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, that's you go in the door up to the counter, and they're handing you stuff that you can leave with.
Okay. Excellent.
Do you think customs is going to be a problem?
For me, yes. But
We
I have friends.
What if
A captain. In fact, I'd probably want to send the lady, but I think the captain could handle picking up something from.
Yeah, what if Captain Douglas wore the pin or something and
Oh no.
tried to show up there? Oh. Or had the pin ready in case you needed it to show up at
What pin?
The Nazi
Nazi
pin. But the package was addressed to the guy whose apartment it was. It was Elbert's package, isn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Albert.
So.
Well, I guess that doesn't help us.
Yeah, because he wasn't a Nazi, to our knowledge, at least.
No, I think we're clear there, but maybe at least as representatives of the society. And nothing in the notes mentions what was being shipped to us?
No.
Okay. All right, it's worth a go.
Yeah.
Okay. What time are you guys going to head over there?
We should probably get there early. Be there by 4.
That's a 4:15. Yeah, that way we're there.
Yeah.
At least walk around, look, make sure we don't recognize any cars that we were chasing.
Okay. So what time were you going over there? I'm sorry.
Between 4 and 4:15 p.m.
Let's just go for 4.
Okay, go for 4.
Okay. Yep. No problem. Yeah, so you guys get over there at 4, and you get to the pier, and I probably should have had a picture of the pier. I don't know why I didn't think of that. So you get there, and you see a ship has just pulled in. And
Yeah.
it happens to be the Stakesby is the name of the ship.
The stakes.
And so yeah, so the Stakesby is they're unloading, and it's about, for those curious, it's about a 4,000 gross registered ton ship. It's 365 feet long, and with a steam engine. And you see You might remember from the contract, it's owned by the Roland and Marwood Steamship Company Limited. So yeah. It takes about an hour and a half. It's unloading stuff. And are you guys just standing on the dock, or what are you doing between 4 and 5:30? Or between 4 and 5?
But how close is parking to the where we need to be to pick up the package?
It was a
I could see
5-minute
the
walk
ship.
for you
Okay.
guys.
I could see the ship from the car.
No,
Okay.
no. Well, maybe, but
Not with any details.
right. You guys parked and then walked down the pier to where you saw the sign for receiving, and then there's a gate, and you were looking through the gate towards the ship.
Okay.
And you see it's been unloading things. So are you going to stand outside the building or go in, or what are we doing?
I'll sit and wait.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say sit and wait to see if anybody else shows up for the package, but how would we know if someone's there for that package versus any other package on the ship?
And we probably want to be in the office if that's going to happen, because if they
Yeah.
come and ask before we do.
Yeah. So I guess we could sit out in the office.
How are you going to ask for the package? Did you bring anything with you?
The card. We have the card.
Yeah, we could just, I guess, have the card and say,
Well, you had the card that had,
Lou Dandridge.
yeah, it had his name on it, but
Yep.
How did you know when the cargo was showing up?
well, that was on the card.
It's on the
No.
back.
Hold on.
The card stuck in the door. It was a business card. Lou Dandridge, supervisor for Dock 39.
Yeah.
And it says tomorrow 5 p.m. on the card.
Yep. What else did you guys find in his office?
The shipping manifest.
The
right?
the
We found
contract.
a
cargo manifest.
contract.
Yeah.
Found a contract found. Roland and Marwood Steamship Company.
There you go.
Yeah.
Brazil to New York.
There you go. I'm going to assume you guys brought that with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we brought the contract too.
There we go. All right, so you go in the office, and there's some other people in there waiting. And as you come in, you hear the guy say, that he will call out. He says, "I'll call out when your stuff arrives." He says, "But please sign in." And there's a sign-in slip.
Mm.
Are you guys going to sign in?
The captain should probably sign in because.
Yeah, I'll sign in.
Are you using your name?
Yes.
I'm not gonna use Albert's name or something.
The contract's addressed to who?
It's addressed to Albert Emil Tornsey.
Yes, why would you not sign in as Albert?
All right. Yeah, I'll sign in as Albert.
Okay, so you sign as Albert. So it's actually, they're doing pretty good. It was actually about 4:45, and the guy at the desk, who is none other than Lou Dandridge, and you can tell because his name tag sewn onto his jumpsuit there says Dandridge on it. He calls out, "Mr. Tornsney, Mr. Tornsney, are you here?"
I'll stand up and say, here.
Okay.
How would he recognize it? It's not the same person.
And he picks up and puts a box on the counter, and the box is about it's 2 foot by a foot and a half by, oh, I don't know, a foot and a half tall. So it's not a large box. He puts that on the counter and goes, "Here you go." And he hands you a stack of papers. "I need a signature here." He flips 2 pages and a signature here.
Okay. I just scribble a signature that doesn't really look like anything.
Okay. He doesn't take a second notice.
Yeah, on both places, and saying that's it. And anything
You're
else?
good, buddy.
All right. I grab the package and walk out to wherever everyone else is.
Okay. All right. So, well, I mean, they're just 2 feet behind you.
Oh, okay.
So, where do you go now?
I would think back to the society.
Back to the headquarters?
Yeah.
Put this
At
out
least
in
to the car to open it.
yeah.
Back to the car to open it?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's
Yeah.
opening it?
Is
No
there-
hazmat labels, right?
1937.
Yeah, I think we're in trouble.
I'll open it.
Okay. Cutting it open with your knife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carefully.
All right. So you open it up, and what you see in there immediately is a whole bunch of straw and hay.
I feel my hand through the straw and hay and move things aside to see if there's anything underneath.
You feel a large clay pot.
I will grab the large clay pot and bring it out.
And so it's a clay pot with a clay lid on top of it.
Is there
It
anything-
doesn't look very fancy. It looks very primitive.
just a basic clay pot, no drawings or anything.
You're correct.
Can I open it?
It looks like it has some kind of weird wax seal around it.
Ooh, let's wait. I'll chime in. Let's get back to the lab or to our place. Yeah.
I'll heed his advice and we'll hold on to it.
Okay. All right. So you go back to headquarters?
Yep. Find
Okay.
a. We have archives. We didn't take lab. What else? We're rich. Okay.
We'll buy a lab.
All right. Yeah, we'll get to. Well, they have an infirmary. We'll get a room
Okay.
that we can carefully open. You said there's nothing in, so there's nothing written on the jar.
Hmm.
There's nothing in the notes about what it is either.
No.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
All right. So you open it up?
Yep.
Yes.
So you open it up, and there's like a bit of a poof as air rushes in.
And we all have Spanish flu.
Yeah.
And for those curious, it seems that it was sealed at a lower altitude than you opened it. So there's a little pop as the air rushes in, and you take the lid off and you look in, and you see there's some dried flowers and plants, and some of them have actually kind of wilted and gotten a little slimy. They look similar to the drawing of the plant in his book, but they don't look like they've the 6 weeks it took the boat to get here. It doesn't look
Did very well. Yeah.
no.
Well, all right.
Yeah, none of it. You don't have the red or the yellow.
Yeah.
It's all brown and goo and dried
Is
up.
there a smell? Fruity, sour, rotten?
And Yeah, rotten.
Okay. So probably in bloom, it actually is more of a sweet smell since it's rotting now. All the sugar's breaking down. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, nothing really here other than this. There's no writing on it, no paper inside,
Nope. Nothing.
just the plants. Okay. So now,
I guess
If
the
you've-
doctor thought he was sending it to himself, and he knew what it was.
yeah, yes, he did. And probably would have been disappointed getting it like this.
Do
There's
you still have the box?
Yeah, we kept all that. We'll search the whole thing now that we're back. Take out all the straw and hay.
Is there anything more in it?
Make notice rolls, everybody.
Hey.
Oh, my wild die.
There we go.
I'll notice them.
Wow. So the doc and the captain actually pointed. There's an address on a label underneath. There's a shipping label for the boat, but under that there seems to be another label that was shipped going from someplace to the ship, and you both notice it as the doctor starts pulling off the ship label, and you see that it was shipped from the town of Kolniza. And apologies to those in Brazil if it's Kolniza. But that was the town it was shipped from.
Do we have a map? Can we see how close Kolniza from that district?
It is right about here.
All righty. And that's where our tribe is somewhere around, correct?
That is correct.
Is there a name on that label?
Yeah, there is. Dr. Albert Emil Tornsny.
Oh, great.
It is missing.
Okay. Well, now we have a destination.
Yep.
Now we just got to get there. Fast, quick, in a hurry.
So what's the
All right.
fastest way that our society has?
You're gonna go see Joffrey?
Yeah, let's see if we've gotten any. Yeah, we'll fill them in on what we've got.
All right. He listens and he says, I absolutely agree with you. It says it sounds like it's time for an expedition. Commander Byrd has notified me that there's an airship waiting for you in Lakehurst in New Jersey.
All right. We know how to get there.
Been there before.
15 minutes.
Hey, Mac.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you guys taking with you?
Oh my goodness. Insect repellent, snake bite venom, spider antitoxins.
I'll take my hunting gear.
Water, yeah, water purifying tablets, morphine, gauze,
Quinine,
magnifying, yeah, quinine,
malaria
iodine was
pills.
yeah, malaria pills, yeah, all those things that will
All right.
keep us from the tsetse fly, right? We got to watch out for that.
Um,
Or tsetse, sorry.
tsetse fly. Yeah, I don't know if that's a Brazilian thing, but But yeah, all right. You've got we'll just consider that you've got a really good medical kit put together.
Yeah. I
Um,
wanted to ask, would a military officer have a rifle like a Springfield rifle, or did they only have pistols?
Generally, he would only have a pistol. However, sir, if you would like to have a Springfield rifle, you, sir, can have one.
Okay, I will have one.
Because remember, you were an officer, and now you're just a dude. So that's going to be the Springfield U.S. M1903 rifle. Yes?
Correct.
Okay. And let me find the stats on that.
From when I looked it up, it was a 2d8 plus 1. But you can fact check that.
Was that in the regular book?
I don't think it was in the regular book.
Okay. Well, I'm using this book,
Okay.
and it's 2d8, no plus 1.
Okay.
Rate of fire is 1, and the weight is going to be 10. And it's 5 shots, and you have to reload. But it does have armor piercing 1.
Huh, that's different. Yeah, I was looking at some other guy that I guess made stats, and it was a 2d8 plus 1 with an armor piercing of 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that came
Whatever.
from. Let me see. Let me check my other book. I am using 2 books here. Yeah, this other book is the same.
Okay.
Um, however, um, it has an AP2 in the other book. It's otherwise exactly the same. The
Huh.
range on it, by the way, is going to be 65, 130, 260,
Wow. Okay.
and AP2.
And then what was the last one? 65, 130, 260?
260. Yep. 65, 130, 260.
Okay.
And that's this book for those watching. Hopefully that shows up. My background not covering it up. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can look there. No,
Okay.
my background covers it up. Oh well. Okay. Anything else you want for the trip? Joffrey tells you he can get a crate sent to the airfield. He's got a truck waiting.
Awesome. I guess also camping gear too, just because we've got to mosey away from the town a bit, whatever that might look like. Torches, things to light fires.
Yeah. Um,
Guns.
Wait, in 1937, you've got flashlights
Mhm.
and
Lanterns,
lanterns, and yeah, you've got fire starting stuff.
MREs,
Or just guns.
or whatever they're.
Yeah, it's going to be more similar to sea rats,
Got it.
which is going to be canned food.
Okay.
It's sea rats is what they had in World War II, and so you're going to have something similar to that. You'll open up a box and there'll be several cans. Like there'll be a can with some cold gelatinized meat, and then
Yes.
and some other things.
Okay.
I've had sea rats. I actually kind of like them. They were good
Sea
chow.
rations.
So Zarola, I haven't heard from you other than my hunting gear. What else? Do you need anything?
Yes, my hunting gear, so that's going to include my knives and my rifle, my derringer, and my pistol. That's the high power 135.
Yeah.
As well as obviously good hiking gear like to wear. And I will pack an evening gown just in case I need to persuade people in case the setting permits. Yeah, I don't know what else other than that.
Yeah, I would assume for the setting that for the trip, you would not evening wear, but you would dress at that time period. People actually kind of dressed up to get on an airplane or get on an airship, or on a boat. You remember on Titanic, right? Everybody was wearing suits and dressed appropriately for travel. People actually kind of dressed up for travel instead of nowadays. You wear your running suit on the plane because it's more comfortable. So absolutely. All right. Um, Captain Douglas, any last things you want? Or
Just my Springfield, my 1911, my Officer Saber,
I'll grab a machete.
and a bayonet, which is just my normal knife that I usually just carry with me.
okay. And that's going to be it.
I don't know, rations.
Are we all carrying rations?
Yeah, I think we're all carrying rations.
Yeah. Joffrey sent rations for everybody.
Okay. Yeah, first aid kit. But yeah, I guess that's about it.
Yeah, the doctor got all the medical stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I just wanted my own basic first aid kit in my pack just in case we get stranded or something, separated.
I got you. All
Okay.
right. Well, you guys get on the road to New Jersey, and you remembered very well.
Where all adventures begin.
Good old New Jersey, and the trip is the trip is pretty normal, nothing unusual, and you get there, and there is a U.S. Navy airship waiting for you.
Nice.
And so when you get there, Joffrey sends a car with the driver, and the truck follows. And you guys wait while they load everything from the crate into the cargo area, and then you guys get in, and the airship takes off towards Rio de Janeiro.
All right.
All right.
Keep an eye out for the blue macaw.
It's a long ride.
The Blue Macaw.
That's
a reference out.
kids movie.
Oh, is that the?
That's the bird. Yep. From Rio.
I was trying to remember the. I was trying to remember the name of the movie. And so while are you doing anything while you're on the trip?
I'll bring some reading materials, frankly, about Brazil and the Amazon and kind of where we're going.
Okay. Did you bring?
I know that maybe. Yeah, I'll bring a journal. Yep.
Okay.
I brought a book of the animals that are found in that area, as well as maps to get an idea of the lay of the land.
Okay. Yeah, you have yeah, you've got a stack of you have a leather tube of various maps at different scales.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Well, it's a 90-hour trip. I
Yeah,
imagine
so
you take a bunch of
a
naps.
bunch of nap. Yeah, eating and sleeping. Yeah.
Can't sleep the entire time.
So after about 90 hours, you guys arrive over Rio de Janeiro.
This is Rio de Janeiro in 1930.
It is.
Nice. I'm sure it's a lot bigger now.
Yeah. And you know, the favelas and so yeah. So yeah, so you guys arrive at Rio de Janeiro, and the when it pulls up to the airdrome, which is to your left in the picture here on a hill, there are no other airships around.
Okay.
So the ship shows up and a crew comes out, and the Joffrey sent a gentleman on the ship to make sure it got unloaded, and he speaks Portuguese, and they start unloading gear onto a truck. And the gentleman looks at the three of you and says, "What are the instructions? What are the plans?"
Oh, geez.
Uh,
How far to
pretty long drive, isn't it?
Kolniza?
Colnisa?
How will we get there?
He talks to the guy in Portuguese, and he looks at you, and he says, "That'll be by riverboat.
Okay.
2 weeks."
All right. So we need at least a place for an evening or two to kind of map out that and get an expedition together from here to get on that boat and get there.
Right.
Does Rio have a contact, a spot? Does the society have a spot in Rio?
It does. It does.
Okay.
There's a
That's where we're
headquarters here, and he says,
Let's start there.
he says that
Yeah.
the driver, there's a car, and he said the drivers of the truck and the car will take you to the headquarters.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Okay. So you're taken down the hill into the city, and there is a large hotel, and there, and you guys pull into the um, um, you guys pull into the back alley, and um, there's a dock there, and um, the truck pulls up to that, and the car kind of follows the truck in and then goes past it and takes you to the front. And when you get to the front, you see that it is the Weldon Hotel.
All right. Unload, go get checked in.
Okay. You go to get checked in, and um, um, the concierge, um, he sees you, and the he sees your pin. Or well, let me ask: are you wearing a pin?
I am.
All right. He sees your pin, and um, he says, "Oh," he says, uh, "I am Jiao is my name," and he says, "I will be here to help you." He says, "But I put that name in the chat." He says, "I'll be here to help you." He says, "You have a special check-in." He says, "Go down that hallway."
Dun, 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 dun.
And so he
Always go
points to
down
the
the hall.
left,
Yeah.
um, and
Okay.
he tells you to go talk to Fabricio. You go down the hallway, and there's
Yep.
a gentleman at a desk there, and he sees your pen, and he says, "How can I help you?"
We're here to check in and make arrangements for an expedition to Comiza.
I will see what I can do. You'll be taking a boat.
It was an airboat that we needed, right?
Riverboat.
Riverboat. Sorry.
Has an airship ever traveled into that area?
No.
Okay, yeah. Riverboat's fine.
He says, "Will you be needing a guide and a translator?"
Absolutely.
He says, "I will speak to Andre. He will be happy to join you."
Awesome.
He said he hands you keys. He says, "Here are the keys to your room." It's about 10 a.m. He says, "Lunch will be at noon." He says, "I saw a truck in back. Is that your truck?"
Yep.
He says, "Is any of that staying here, or when I arrange for the ship, should I just get everything transferred to the riverboat?"
Yeah, probably everything to the riverboat. I don't know if you guys have like your own personal luggage that you guys would like to carry with you. Have sent to our rooms.
Your
I'll keep
luggage
the
is on the truck.
yeah. So our luggage and I'll keep the medical pack I put together with me. I'll leave the machete on the boat. I'll keep the sap
Okay.
or on the truck.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll be taking my rifle and guns with me.
Okay, fair enough. When you guys go back out to the main lobby area, um, which is how you get to your rooms, um, Zhao stops you and he says, "Did you comment on that airship?"
And they go, yeah.
"Yeah, I saw that flying over the city. I was eating. Uh, I was walking outside getting something for another guest." He says, "That's the second airship I've seen recently."
Was like, when was the last one? What, 3 days ago?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Right, right.
It wasn't here very long.
Mm.
He said they didn't stay at this hotel though. I think they were German.
Do they have is there a frequent hotel for the Germans in the city?
Well, there's the embassy,
Hmm.
but well, no, the embassy would be in Sao Paulo, in the capital. There's a consulate here.
Very good. How far? It's addressed.
He says it's he says it's actually a 20-minute walk.
Okay. Any good restaurants near there?
Yes. He says, let me think about it.
Awesome.
And will you be dining with us for lunch, or will you be going
Oh,
out?
we'll come down. We'll be here for lunch. I'll be here for lunch.
All right. And what are you two up to?
I guess I'll be here for lunch also.
Me too.
Yeah, I'd like to find out more about the other ship, but I mean, it's not like we can walk into a consulate. A Nazi consulate. So. Did he say how long it would take to get everything organized for the expedition?
No. You want to walk back and ask him?
Yeah.
He said he should be able to have it ready for you tomorrow at noon.
Andre?
Fabricio.
Oh.
Yeah, he said Andre will meet you at the boat. He said it's going to be a couple days drive outside of Rio to get to the river.
Okay.
All right. Anything you want to do between now and tomorrow?
Study the river.
All right, on your map. So you
Find out if there's any more info on the. Actually, I'll ask. Well, find out any more information about the town or the village. It's a village basically out that way.
Yes.
If they even know or and
Coniza?
what's yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Could we ask Fabricio if he can find out if there's any other parties building or developing an expedition?
He says I can ask around.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a network of people who we might know.
Yeah,
Tip him.
Go ahead.
I'll tip him.
Oh, okay.
He's concierge.
Yeah. Okay. He says he'll ask around. He says, maybe he'll have something for you tomorrow.
Okay.
How about stories or fables or myths or legends from out of that area?
Should we also ask if people there know anything about that flower?
Who are you asking?
Should we ask Fabricio?
Okay. And what are you asking him exactly?
Or actually Giles, because he said that he was here to help us. Ask him if he's ever heard of the flower and if it means anything to him.
So before you ask him, Zhao is the concierge for the Weldon Hotel. Fabricio is the guy down the hallway who is a C member that is basically the concierge for C members.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So we asked Fabricio.
Fabricio, if he and you, how you say I'm asking him about that flower. I don't know.
Oh, about the, oh God, I can't say it. The full host eternity. I don't know how to say it. The eternity flower.
He says, "Can I see? Do you have a picture or a name?"
So we had the name written down, and then we had, well, we do. I have like one of the dried flowers on me.
Oh, you do? Okay. It's pretty much goo at this point.
Right.
The picture from the book,
The drawing.
the drawing.
He looks at that and says, "No, I don't recognize that."
Any
what
local?
what amenities does this headquarters have? Does it have a research library of its own?
Archive?
An archive of its own?
It does not. It does not. It has a, what does it have? That's a really good question.
I'll also ask him, hey, or if you're not feeling well, who do we go and see? Doctors? Is there an actual medicine person in the city? Someone that might be
We have a doctor we have a contract with, yes.
awesome.
Are you feeling well?
I'm feeling well. Maybe they might know. Talk about the flower if they've ever heard of it. Are they local?
Yes.
How many years in country? Like born here?
Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
local.
family. Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking, Chris. They don't have any of the special traits from the book here.
Okay.
I mean, it's basically they have some guaranteed rooms and some people to help you, but that's about it.
Okay.
Is there a college or anything close by that might have like a horticultural division? Like the, I don't know, the University of Rio de Janeiro?
Yeah. Um, the it's a brand new university, and it's the University of Santa Ursula, and um, it's a private Roman Catholic university, and it was founded by this gentleman.
So I propose we go there, ask if there's a professor of horticulture, and see if they have any feedback on the flower.
That sounds like a plan.
Okay. Are you going there after lunch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So it's um, Fabricio gets you a taxi, and taxi takes you over to the university. By the way, lunch is fantastic, and
Awesome.
really enjoy that. And so you go to the university. Who's ringing? Um, and um, you get to the university, and it's a small building. Um, it's not like a Harvard where it's giant, stone ivy covered buildings. But it's just a regular brick building, and just one. And um,
It's
so
a
you
guy
guys
named
head in.
Juan in a shack.
Well, it's bigger than the shack, but yeah, um, it's one building university.
um, is there a main office or?
Yeah, well, there's a front door up, but you go up a flight of stairs and there's a door.
Yeah,
Okay, you guys head in.
yeah.
Okay, well, you head in and there's a desk there with a receptionist, and um, the lady says she introduces hello. She says, "My name is Margarita," and she says, "How can I help you?"
Uh, Good afternoon, Margarita. Um, my name's Captain Jack Douglas. I'm here on a research expedition, and I was looking to see if you had a professor of horticulturalism that we could discuss a possible plant that we're looking for.
Um, she says, "Yes." Just a minute. Let me look in the. Um, she says that will be Professor Eloisa Silva, and she's probably in her office, and it's up the stairs, and it'll be the fourth office on your left.
Thank you very much. We'll go and see her now.
Very well.
Uh, we'll make our way up the steps.
Okay. So you go up the steps, and there's offices on the left and some classrooms on the right hand side. You go to the fourth office on the left. I think I said fourth. And the door is open.
Um, I was wondering, how pervasive were Nazis back then? Like, would people in Rio de Janeiro had a disliking for Nazis back then?
The war's not started. And Brazil and the Nazis had a favorable relationship in 1937. The U.S. and the Nazis had a favorable relationship in 1937. I mean, the Hindenburg frequently traveled to New Jersey and was it's like TWA. I mean, it wasn't. It was just a passenger thing. Americans frequently took the Hindenburg between New Jersey and Germany, and between Germany and Brazil.
Hmm.
So it was just a passenger. It was the Hindenburg was a big part of Nazi propaganda. Aren't we awesome?
Hmm.
So the war's not started yet.
All right.
So it's just really Nazis are just there's no Holocaust, there's no invading anybody, there's no
Yeah.
it's a political party now. It's a socialist political party, but the thing for a lot of Americans in 1937 was it was an anti-communist party.
Hmm.
It was a socialist party. I mean, that's part of what Nazi means, right?
Yeah.
Is socialist and but anti-communist. which
Okay.
is why a lot of countries, a lot of countries were anti-communist at the time and saw, especially in Europe, saw, is they didn't necessarily like the Nazis, but it was like, well, socialist is better than communist, so right.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I was just wondering because like a lot of like Indiana Jones and stuff movies, the Nazis are kind of portrayed as kind of scoundrelly, you know, do things a little dirty kind of groups of guys.
Absolutely,
Shady deals.
absolutely.
So I didn't know if that would like rub people the wrong way.
Well, it might. It might, but I kind of interpreted your question more on a general societal level
Yeah.
and on a personal one-to-one level. Um, you know, uh, if the guy driving the taxi for the white Aryan happens to have brown hair, dark skin, and brown eyes, at the end of the ride, he might have an unfavorable view of somebody who sees a superiority to the Aryan race, right?
Yeah.
But that's going to be on a personal one-to-one level.
Yeah.
Government to government, Brazil and Germany were not allies, but on friendly terms.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go into Eloisa Silva's office and introduce myself and tell her that we're here for an expedition, trying to find a rare flower for research purposes, and you know if she has any information on it, that'd be a great help.
She says,
Show her the picture that we have.
"Oh, you show her the picture?
Yeah,
Okay."
with the name.
And she says, "Oh, this is a very interesting flower. I've I don't remember ever seeing a flower like this. Um, so you've already found the flower then?
Um,
How do you know of it?
we've we found a sample that was sent back to us, but it was already lost and destroyed, and we're looking to find it again before a more hostile third party gets to it.
Oh,
But, but
hostile third party. My goodness.
but our contact has been temporarily lost.
I see. Um, yeah, I can tell you that as far as biodiversity, the Amazon and all of Brazil has plants that it will take us many years to find and identify.
Um, I'm trying to find. Do you know anything of the Kawahiva tribe or the Mato Grosso region?
Um, the I've heard the name. Um, they are the Rio Pardo tribe. Um, they yeah, absolutely. The uh, Mato Grosso is where you'll find them. But um, I, I think maybe um, some say that uh, they are a rumor. Um, they they're called sometimes the Boxinos. You'll find them known as the Boxinos.
Mhm.
And
What does the Boxinos mean?
tiny people.
Hmm.
They're also sometimes called the cabezas vermelhas, which is red head.
Hmm.
But I don't know if anybody has ever met them in person.
Um, Doctor, do you have any additional questions? Paging Dr. Shambo.
You've got your microphone on mute, Sean, if you're
Muted.
talking.
Sorry, I was the phone ringing.
Oh, I got you.
No, I've listened. She's not familiar with the flower, so we got a little more background on the people that could be possibly out there.
Okay. If you do find anything, I would love to see what know what you find.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I think that works.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
A rollout.
Okay. Taxi's waiting for you. He waited.
Is there a professor of anthropology?
Yeah, right. Well, that sounds like that's about the thing. Like if for what she knows, if anyone talks to the, I guess we could find out a little more about the myth of them. I bet you further away from the city and maybe closer to where that town is, we might find rumor, myth, legend around that,
Okay.
Yeah.
around the people.
Yeah, probably close to that town.
Okay. Are you heading back to the Weldon Hotel?
Yeah.
Let's make a slight detour through by the German consulate. Just want to take a look.
Okay.
German
There's any-
Consulate.
To see if there's any familiar faces.
Um, you um, you go to the German consulate, and of course you see all the Nazi flags, which
Mhm.
is really, we say Nazi flag, but at that time it was a German flag.
Right.
And there are a number of soldiers with gray suits and military uniforms with guns stationed at various points around the consulate, and it's really just a medium large house
Sure.
with a stone wall around it, and the wall has iron um, spike things on top. I mean, decorative, not scary. And at the main gate, you see guards, and you can see up by the front door. You also has some guys in uniform.
Okay. All right, we'll head back to the hotel. It's time to get some rest, collect
Okay.
ourselves because it's a long boat ride.
Yeah. So anything else you want to do between now and getting on the boat? Zarola wanted to look at maps. So you look at maps and you see that it's going to be different rivers. You don't see one river between where you are and the town. And you've been here, you've done the hunting and other stuff, and you infer that when they say river boat, it's river boats. You're going to have, it's going to take a boat from here to there, get on a put your stuff on a truck, take the truck to the next river, get on another boat, and so it's not just one boat from here to there.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
So I studied the maps.
So anything else, or are we heading to the boat?
I think the boat's probably my next.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, forgot the name already. Fabricio has a car waiting for you, and the truck with all your gear follows behind the car, and you guys drive for a couple days, and the first day you stay in kind of a hotel. The second day, you basically, it's not raining. They just kind of put mats out around the truck and just sleep around a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the evening of that second day, you arrive to a river where there's a boat.
All right.
And there's your boat.
Ooh.
And with that, unless you guys have something, that takes us to our 9 o'clock slot. And
All right.
we will go ahead and in there, unless, again, you guys have any last minute things.
Mm-hmm. Does Andreas look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
No. We will meet him. We'll start with meeting Andre next week. All right, guys. That's where we're going to end today's session.
Sounds good.
Thank you to everyone for joining us. As always, if you'd like to support us on Twitch, be sure to click the follow button. Or if you're able to, click that subscribe button to become one of our rock stars. And one of our rock stars on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload content, which is almost every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. And last but not least, head over to our Patreon page where you can get your name on every show we do as a producer for as little as $1 a month. And soon you'll see the names of folks scrolling across the screen. And with that, that's me, John, Chris, Courtney, and Sean. And game on.
Game on.
Come on.
Have a good night.
Good night.